All right, Guy Gardner becomes a god. Jessica Cruz goes all diehard, and Jon Stewart does what? Let's talk about future state Green Lantern. What's up, guys? BJ Kicks here. I buy comics, I read them, and I review them, all for your viewing pleasure. Welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. I guess I should center myself in the frame. But yeah, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here and you like comic books, you should definitely subscribe to the channel and then tap that bell icon so that you're notified when I post new videos. Now, I did promise you guys this Future State Green Lantern review, but then yesterday I dropped 2 videos and I didn't want to just start overshadowing everything. So I was like, all right, I got to push this back a little bit. Plus, I needed some time to process what I had just read. So, Future State I've been enjoying so far. I've read The Next Batman, I've read The Justice League, and now I've read Green Lantern. I actually just picked up my whole pull list last night. So there's a lot in Future State to enjoy. So let's go ahead and get into this review, and let's see how things are going. So Future State Green Lantern. First off, there's 3 stories in this book, kind of like the Future State, The Next Batman. So we've got a story called Last Lanterns, starring Jon Stewart. We've got a story called The Taking of Sector 123. I know in my solicits show, I said it was The Tasking because there was a typo there. But anyway, The Taking of Sector 123. And Guy Gardner is in a story called The Book of Guy. Now, I'm going to go in reverse chronological order. We're going to touch on each of these 3 stories. I promise I'm going to keep it spoiler free as always. So let's full screen that. And we're going to start off with the Guy Gardner story. So the Guy Gardner story starts right here. It's called The Book of Guy, written by Ernie Altbacker, art by Clayton Henry, colors by Marcelo Maiolo. Artwork is pretty cool. It's a little cartoony. I like it. But basically, let's give some background for this Future State issue. Much like the Next Batman anthology book was kind of showing a bunch of different areas of Gotham and how they're all dealing with this new threat of the Magistrate and the Mask Order being in place. The Book of Guy, or this Green Lantern series, has one kind of central plot point as well. And that is the central power battery has gone out. None of the lanterns in this book are able to use their rings, at least not in this issue. And so we're kind of seeing, okay, where each member of the Corps is and seeing just what exactly they're going to do to overcome this situation without any power rings. Obviously, noticeably absent is Hal Jordan from these books. Not sure what's going on with him just yet either. But there we go. So the Book of Guy, what's this about? Well, Guy Gardner is going to Planet Redlin or Rurlin in Sector 345. And he's like, yo, this isn't even my sector. Why am I the one doing this? You know, typical arrogant Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner is like a funny arrogant. I tend to dislike Hal Jordan because he just seems like just a jerk, which Guy Gardner is supposed to be the jerk, but they play it up so much that it's just funny to me. Anyway, obviously his Green Lantern Guardian's like a squirrel, and he's like, yo, this is why you're stuck here, and it'll be a 5-minute mission, so just go. Let's see. Tell me again why I'm taking orders from a squirrel. It's just Guy Gardner being Guy Gardner. And I promise we're not going to spoil this story. I'm just going to show you the opening and talk about what I thought about it. I'm not sure what a Budik is. I don't know if that's something that like he says in earlier issues. Somebody tell me what this statement is supposed to mean. But clearly that's his insult of choice. All right. Okay, time to be awesome. Ring. Make sure they can understand me when I want. The ring is working. All right. So he gets there, and you find that these creatures, these squirrely looking aliens, are at war with each other, and you don't quite understand why. And he's like, okay, so you guys are fighting over this thing? Like, how about you just stop fighting? How about that? And he's basically like, look, This war is done. Like, I'm sick of this. This is ridiculous. Like, I want to go back to my day. And here we go. So you notice they start calling Guy Gardner a prophet, and they're still arguing over which side are the heretics. And Guy Gardner's like, wait, so each of you thinks like that some sacred being is telling you that you need this relic. This relic is literally trash. Like, just leave it alone. And so then he lies and says, oh, well, I was sent to be the keeper of the relic and take it. And then as he's doing that, that's when the central power battery dies. His ring is no longer working. And he basically gets stuck on this planet. And the rest of the issue is basically him kind of becoming this planet's leader, right? He did so reluctantly, but this kind of tribe of people is gullible, right? And so they treat him like a god. He instills a bunch of rules and, has the planet functioning. There's a twist at the end that I won't talk about. And overall, that was a really fun story. I enjoyed it. I feel like it gave me what Guy Gardner is supposed to be, like the reluctant hero who really just wants to do whatever he wants to do. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. And so without spoiling the story, I'll move on to this Jessica Cruz story. So now by far, Jessica Cruz has my favorite story in this anthology. Spoiler alert. But again, this is called The Taking of Sector 123. And Jessica Cruz is basically in this little space station by herself. And she's like, look, it's been 13 months since the Corps has communicated with anyone. The light's wrong out here. There's, everything is turning like yellow. There's nothing green out here. And so there are basically, you've got a team kind of scouting out this little space station, like, okay, what's going on? And so they're going to basically infiltrate this little place. And so here we go. So we're introduced to the three villains. We got Lysa Drack, who's the keeper of the Book of Parallax. We got Lo, and then we've got Uggy. What's crazy is I didn't realize this until like the third time I read it, but Uggy's got an eyeball where her mouth should be and mouths where eyeballs should be. It's funny, just Green Lantern trope stuff. Wait, where's this guy's eyes? Maybe he sees through like inside there. But anyway, so basically Sinestro sent them on a mission to get into this place. And they're like, I don't understand why. Like, there's nothing here. And so they're like, well, we got to take the Green Lantern's resources. Now, who's hiding out? Who is this hand? Of course, it's Jessica Cruz. And so we see that Jessica Cruz is pretty much the last person in this space station. They sent for reinforcements. She's the only one that made it there. And so the rest of the story is Jessica Cruz going all diehard action hero and really just kind of figuring out how she can use her resources to take these people out. And dude, like, I can't say enough how much I loved this story. Like, I'm skipping around because I don't want to ruin anything. But look at that. See, this is like the perfect recap of what's going on. Like, look, I'm Jessica Cruz. This is my world. This is my station. You're not taking over, right? There's a twist at the end of this story that was really dope as well. And I can't wait to see how this plays out. Again, between the artwork, the pacing, the action, I really love this Jessica Cruz story, and I'm excited to see how it wraps up. Now, let's get to what I came to this book for, and that is the John Stewart story. And so the John Stewart story is called Last Lanterns. It's written by Jeff Thorne, and we'll get to the artwork later because I don't remember who it was that did it. But here we are. Basically, they're on Earth, and they're about to be invaded by this group called, I think, the Red God and his vanguard, his troops, basically. And so we've got kind of mission control speaking to Jon Stewart, and Jon is like, look, we've planned for this. This is, we're totally ready for this action. And mission control is like, no, like something is going wrong. And Jon's like, nah, they don't care about space fights. This is not about that. They want to fight us here. And so you're tossed, or you're dropped smack dab in the middle of this fight between all these species on this planet. And Jon Stewart's like, look, we like to get dirty too. Now, when I saw this panel, I was like, yo, what is going on? Because this is not some new character. This is not some new species. That is Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, the military man, the Marine, with a beard, with dreadlocks, in a ponytail, with these gauntlets. Oh, I don't know what is going on. Why does Jon Stewart have a flaming sword? I have so many questions, right? And this issue, I continue to have questions throughout this whole thing. Now, I remember seeing an interview with Jeff Thorne, and he was kind of talking about, without spoiling anything, what his Green Lantern run is going to look like, because this is the future state. So this is basically like where his run is going to end, or is the supposed ending of his run if he ever gets to it, right? But he's got a Green Lantern ongoing series that starts in March, focusing on Jon Stewart. So we assume that story does have a beginning as well that we're not seeing here. So it's like waking up, like your girlfriend turns a movie on, or your wife turns a movie on. In my case, you fall asleep. You don't really know the movie started, and you wake up in the middle of an action scene. And you're like, what the heck is going on? That's how I felt reading this issue. So anyway, this is Last Lanterns, written by Jeffrey Thorne, with artwork by Tom Rainey, and colors by Mike Attier. I'll say this, the artwork is good. I mean, the rendering is good. All the perspective is good. I mean, I've not read a Future State issue where I didn't like the art. So it's got that going for it. But anyway, what you get is Jon Stewart basically leading the troops on the ground throughout this mission. And they're fighting, and they've got like this other, maybe it's not Earth that they're on, because they've got this other species that they're fighting for. And they've basically said, look, like, we find out that blue species, the leaders of that species, basically fled the planet when they found out these troops were coming. And so they don't want to fight for the planet. They just want to evacuate, but they really can't. As you can see, Jon Stewart has made some decisions about who's going to fight who and where that are kind of getting him in some hot water. Just look at his face. He's terrified. It becomes clear that Jon is not prepared for the threat that's coming. But still, he's still like, nah, we got this, right? Mission Control is begging with him, like, no, you need more people. We can help you. And he's like, nah, we got this. I said we got this. And so I'll stop, going through the artwork here as to not spoil the story, but you can probably guess he didn't really have this. He didn't have it nearly as much as he thought he did. So let's switch back, and I'll just talk about how I feel about this Green Lanterns issue. Now, of course, you guys know I'm not a big Green Lantern fan. I'm not a big sci-fi fan, but I do like the character of Jon Stewart. I love what they've added to his character story over the years. I love that he's a former Marine. I love that he basically takes charge of the Justice League in the current ongoing series. I love that he goes toe-to-toe with Batman. I love that he's measured. He's reserved, right? And he gets the job done. His constructs, they're not like weak. They're not like poorly thought out. He was an architect, and so he thinks things through from the inside out. And I really enjoy that about him. He's methodical. It like me in a lot of ways, right? And so reading this Jon Stewart story, where Jon Stewart is not being methodical, he's not he does not seem to be well thought out or seem to have, things thought through as much as he should or could. That was jarring for me. And I read it the first time and was like, okay, this is trash. I read it the second time and was like, okay, this is just out of character. I read it the third time and it's like, maybe it's out of character for a reason. But the fact that I read it 3 times, hoping to like it more each time and not really liking it more each time, kind of told me like, I don't know, this might not be for me. I'm going to see this through because the Green Lantern Future State book is only 2 issues. So I don't feel like there's not enough time to kind of wrap that story up neatly and redeem some of the things that I didn't like about it. But I mean, it's only 1 more issue. So hopefully some of my concerns will be addressed there. But the star of the show was that Jessica Cruz story. I really loved the Jessica Cruz story. The twist at the very end, that last panel, you're like, yo, what? How is this going to go? And the Guy Gardner story too. The Guy Gardner is just a funny story, and the twist at the end kind of makes it look like it's going to be one of those unlikely pairings, like, and that's going to be fun too. So I didn't even tell you like the character that's going to make a special appearance at the back of that Guy Gardner story. I'll let you read that for yourself. Overall, I'm going to give this issue a 7 out of 10. And that's just because the Jessica Cruz story was that good. It hooked me that much. It helped me put up with the fact that the John Stewart was nothing like I thought it would be from the cover and nothing like I would have wanted it to be as a John Stewart fan. The Guy Gardner story was funny too. So kudos to you guys for making sure that the John Stewart story was only a third of the book. Whoops, dropped my headphones. But yeah, the John Stewart story was only a third of the book. And, unfortunately, it didn't hold up its end of the bargain. But that's going to do it for me. If you read this book, I want to know what you thought about it. Let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you in another video soon. Until then, make sure you buy what you like, read what you buy, and be nice to others because kindness makes the world go round. Peace.